Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inkwell Academy. My name is Sophia Wardell, and today we have a special guest, author and entrepreneur, Tracy Duhaney. Tracy is a business strategy consultant and organizational psychologist who has been leading her boutique consulting firm, the Ambaselli Group, for over 5 years. Tracy is an expert public speaker, conducting sought-after workshops and leadership training events, addressing authentic leadership and self-awareness. Tracy is also an acclaimed author of Discovering Your Inner CEO, a guided journal that empowers women to explore and embrace their authentic selves. Thank you for joining us today, Tracy.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And today I want to start by talking about the importance of author branding, because author branding is the basis of a successful publishing journey. So for author persona, through your book, Discovering Your Inner CEO, a woman's guided journal, and through speaking engagements, your main goal is to encourage women to find their voice, embrace their strengths, and realize their potential. How can an author define their author persona? For example, through what voice, values, themes, and emotions in their writing and in your writing were you able to define yours?
Absolutely. It's a great question. On my journey to becoming an author, I never thought of myself as being an author. I was literally writing down things that worked for me. And when I was going through my journey of discovering my inner CEO, I looked at it a little differently because it was something that I was passionate about as to what makes me me. And then also, what do I want to do? What am
Mm,
I excited about? What am I passionate about? And these are harder questions to answer than you may think. Because normally when someone says to you, so tell me about yourself, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm this, I'm this. Those titles don't tell you who you are. They tell you
right.
roles to fill. So I went through that discovery period as to who am I? What do I like? What do I enjoy? What am I passionate about? What are my goals? And how do I align everything? So, for my author branding, now that I say this, it really was a journey to authenticity. And that is something that I fully will stand on a platform for because if you're not authentic in what message you're trying to portray, not only is it evident with how people receive the message, but you're not going to enjoy it. And why do something you're not going to enjoy it? Right?
Right.
That's the part that I think we've been conditioned to believe that we need to do things because that's what we should do. No, we need to do things because we enjoy it, because it aligns with who we are, on what our purpose is to be placed on this earth.
No, I love that. I love that so much. I think authenticity is something that matters so much because you can't find anyone else exactly like you.
Exactly.
And that's how you build your following base, your
A hundred
connections, your
percent.
readers. Yeah. And
Absolutely. And you have a message that is unique to you. And even though it's unique to you, there are parts of it that other people need to hear.
yeah, exactly. And on that note, connecting and just finding your reader base and your niche, how have you engaged with your audience to build a well-defined brand that has ultimately elevated visibility for your book and landed more readers?
Honestly, the biggest part has to do with coming back to my authenticity, where I have been engaging in conversations with women at different stages in their career because that is fundamental. It's not just for the CEO or the C-suite level, it's for anyone going into the first, second, third stages of their career. You have the stay at home moms or the previous stay at home moms who are now venturing into their career. It's it appeals to anyone. And from that perspective, really just having that authentic conversation of what it is that you want to do. And if you're talking to people and recognizing they're doing things, they're going through the motions, they're burnt out, they're unhappy. Well, how do we start by finding out who you are and what you want to do? So I've been really having just some authentic conversations to start. And then it has been a lot of word of mouth and referrals
Mm.
because as women go through the journey, they tell their friends. And as they tell their friends, right, it builds and builds and builds. It was something that I had to realize was not going to be the next 50 Shades, right? It wasn't going to be the international stardom because that's not my goal. My goal was to truly help people. So the organic growth of person by person, conversation at a time, one conversation at a time, that was my goal. And I'm fulfilling that goal because it's more authentic than just read me, read me, read me.
Yeah, I love that because with professionalism, credibility, reader connection, not a lot of authors, maybe not, 50 Shades or Lord of the Rings, but what you've done is you can speak to a lot of authors that are trying to build interactive books. Like
Mhm,
your book is a journal. And
mhm.
I think that because it's a journal, you get those clients and they get to know you and I don't know if I would buy a journal for this specific purpose from someone I didn't trust and know was, a business
Correct.
development expert. And so that's what you are. So you're just allowing what you already know to really be amped up in this book, and you get just so much more, so many more connections from it, and so many readers.
You're absolutely correct, and the biggest thing too is that getting over the hurdle of the perception of journaling. And
Mm,
I found with this that I've had women tell me, "I don't journal. I don't believe in journaling." And I respect that because that's their opinion. And if that's truly what you believe, I'm not here to change your mind. But I will say, this isn't your typical journal. It's not pages of just blank lines because I've been there and I start writing and I say, okay, what else am I supposed to write? You search,
yeah.
and then you write, 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 and you're like, I don't know what else to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I did a guided journal. That's why I did the questions in there, the facilitation to prompt that thought process to say, hey, I actually haven't thought about this. Let me sit in my moment and let me actually think about it. So, for the women who tell me I don't journal, I respect that. And then once they start to flip through or they talk to other people who have done it, they're like, oh, this is not what I thought journaling was. It's a form of journaling, it's just guided. And I think that's where we need to get over get past our own selves, right? Or get out of our own ways because we have this perception and we put everything in that box and anything that it's remotely close to that, we're like, we don't do it.
Yep.
And it's not that. And that's why I did this because I needed this and I wondered to myself, how many people out there need this, but have
Mm,
no idea how to do it. And I'm not saying that this is all encompassing. I'm also not going to say to you that everything in the journal is 100% my work, meaning that there are SMART goals referenced in there. Everyone knows SMART goals, but how do you implement SMART goals into every facet of your life?
right.
Right? There's one activity in the journal that I absolutely love where I challenge women to go on a date with themselves. It's not a new activity. Almost
Right.
every therapist will challenge you to do that. Not that I'm a therapist, but it's just an activity that really is trying to get you to be uncomfortable so that you learn something about yourself.
Well, I think that's a great point because a lot of people have knowledge and they don't
Mhm,
know how to apply that knowledge to their lives, especially like you're teaching people how to build a business.
mhm.
If they buy this journal, all the definitions they've ever heard of and things that they've read on Google, now it's applied day on a day by day basis to their life. Like this is, you're going to use this today and this is how you're going to build your business. So I love that. I mean, and that also builds credibility for your own business.
It does, and it's not necessarily building your business as people hear that phrase and think, "Okay, I wanna start a business, I'm gonna get this." That's not the journal. It's the business of you, right? Where
Mm,
it's who you are, and it applies to personal and professional life because that's where I think some of the separation comes from. It's, I wanna build a business to put out there into the world to make all this money,
mm.
and then the question comes back to, "Well, which business do you build? Oh, I have all these ideas. Which one aligns with you? Because they're all great ideas, but as entrepreneurs, we start building. And then when it gets tough, sometimes it's, oh gosh, this is harder than I thought. Maybe I don't want to do this. That's why it's so important that it aligns with your goals and your purpose so that even when things get difficult, you can rely on this is what I meant to do. This is where I need to be.
Yeah, no, I love that because you think about it, if you love comedy and you are a comical person, and just for example, you love comedy shows and you write a super serious, depressing, sad book as an author, you may not be able to effectively complete that as well as you would be able to do something that's more of like your expertise because you don't know who your author persona is. You don't
Right.
know what you're good at, what your strengths are. So no, I love that. And on the last note of just professionalism and credibility, how have you built a strong and established credibility for your work, and how has it influenced readers' perceptions?
Well, I can tell you for how I've built my credibility has been a real focus on my values and action. And I've been very intentional with that. And my values are faith, accountability, and trust. So as long as everything that I'm doing aligns with those values, I feel that other people recognize, okay, she does what she says she's going to do.
Mhm.
It's factual. I've seen the result. And the more you do that, people therefore open up and say, okay, I'm trusting her because I've seen it. right?
Right.
It's not, there's nothing worse than you saying X and you doing Y, and then people are like, which one is it? I'm a little confused. And that is hyper important because authenticity in that, which is my favorite word, but authenticity in that is important because people need to believe you if they're going to work with you or buy something from you.
Yeah, I love that. And I have one more question for you. Being a business strategist with the Ambaseli Group, what is a primary branding strategy that an author should focus on to grow their network of readers?
I would honestly say, coming back to, I'm going to sound like a scratch record with this, authenticity. Because if I was to come back and say that I'm going to now strategize and put myself and my journal into the next IT AI database and that's where I'm going to promote myself, it will never work because I don't belong there. Right.
Right.
Understanding who I am, what the purpose of the book is, and who my demographic is helps me to better align what my brand is supposed to do, but also the spaces that require me. Not, I'm not meant to be everywhere. Like I said, I'm not the next 50 Shades, right? I'm not meant to be everywhere. I'm just trying to focus and align myself and my product with my ultimate client, which is helping women in business
Mhm.
redefine themselves. Right.
Right.
And then as long as I keep true to that and not get distracted, because we all get distracted, there's squirrels everywhere. As long as I stay true to that, then I know I'm moving in the right direction.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic. Thank you so much
Of
for all
course.
of your insight, Tracy. And lastly, I want to know, where can our listeners find and connect with you? Do you have LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram?
Absolutely. I will tell you, I'm not an X person or a TikTok person. I know my spaces, but I do have LinkedIn. It is Tracy Duhaney. And then I have my credentials on there, MSc. And then for Instagram, it is at Tracy Ann Duhaney. And I'm on Facebook, same name, but also tracyduhaney.com is my main website. And the book is available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble as well. And so I love to hear from people, especially as they're buying the book and doing the activities and getting feedback from them as to what's working. If something's not working, I'd love to hear that too, because it's not universal and I can always improve as well.
Exactly. Great. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today at the Inkwell Academy with our special guest, Tracy Duhaney. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.